Fantasy Sports Show, brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. I'm your host, Shane Diefmuck, joined as always by Shawn and Bo. But not
sounded
Bo.
like a German Shepherd there.
Yeah, I was trying to transition my howl into an ooh, and it kind of went off the rails. And Bo's here.
I like that. I did like the howl transition.
It sounded like
nice.
a German Shepherd because it sounded like you were dying and the Germans are dead.
Oh, too soon.
Yeah.
Is it too soon?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, don't get eliminated.
It's now
in the
not
World
too
Cup.
soon. No, you're
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Germans are dead.
Okay, cool. Yeah, lots to talk about today. Week 13 approaching. Week 12 was just about as weird as the rest of the season has been. Do you guys feel like this has been a weird week or weird season in the NFL so far?
Yes. The Bills lost to the New York Jets.
Yeah.
So that was weird enough for me.
Very weird.
Yeah.
I mean, just the return of NFL defenses.
Yeah.
We're like there's no looking back. It's offense, it's passing league, and then what does the NFL do? That rascal, it just figures out a way, right?
Yeah.
Somebody just game plans it right, and we're still playing that game of chess and just figuring it out. I mean, there's a few teams that are like they're not susceptible to it,
Yeah.
like the Bills, like the Chiefs, but that's it.
But you know what's so weird is like, I mean, it's the cover too. Like everyone's just like, they're just sitting back. What's so weird is this happens, once. It happens to certain teams once a year, like the Chiefs. It happened to, and then they figured out halfway through the season. But this happens like once every 10 years. Some new type of defense. The cover 6 comes to mind 10 years ago. Why do you guys think that there can't be adjustments mid-season and like after the season's over, defenses will play it the next year and then teams are beating it? Why is it a full install in the offseason that works?
I think that there was a moment where most teams, especially in a cap league, they kind of pushed all their chips into the middle of the table for it, right? And as far as trying to get away from it schematically, like you would have to abandon pages, chapters of your playbook in order to really fight it, and you would probably limit yourself, and it might work for a quarter or a half, but I think as far as what they're dealing with is personnel, not the personnel to do it because they already went that way. And then as far as their play calling.
Yeah, I was going to say the personnel is the big thing. I think defenses are naturally kind of behind offenses. And, you start drafting players and signing players for a certain kind of defense you plan to play. And then if offenses start changing, like you're kind of screwed. Like there's not a whole lot of like massive run stoppers on defense of any like big old like 300-pound guys on defenses anymore because it's not the kind of football that gets played. But then you end up seeing teams being able to run on certain teams because they don't have those kinds of run stoppers. So it's things like that. I feel like the personnel and just it takes a while for defenses to transition.
Yeah,
away from that kind
and
of
then
stuff.
in terms of offense, not every team has a vertical threat like your Robbie Andersons of the world.
Well, and also like, don't you feel like when you're kind of in the sports book or you're gambling, whatever your game might be, and you just want to kind of sometimes shoot from the hip, like you get on a little bit of a roll, you have a couple successful runs, you're like, let's throw the football.
Yeah.
Let's do it. It's set up perfectly, and then it's like, no, they're not going to let you do it. They're not going to give you those passing lanes. They're not going to give you over the top. It's just going to be like you're going to have to kill us by 1,000 cuts. Little tiny cuts.
I just like that basically everyone was wrong about the NFL this year. Like, I mean, no one expected the NFC East to be the best division in football, I guess. And if they're not, then the AFC East is, and I don't think people expected that either.
Record-wise.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, no one expected what's happening in the AFC West or the AFC West like that. That's that. I mean, not even that. I don't think anyone expected the Chargers to kind of be sorry. I don't think anyone expected the Broncos to just be this tragic. I mean, obviously the Chiefs were predictable, and then the NFC West, like obviously,
don't forget the Raiders in that division.
Yeah,
too.
no one expected the Raiders to be one of the worst teams in football, and the NFC West, like no one expected the Seahawks to be this.
Yeah. In terms of a fantasy perspective, it's kind of sucked too because your big hitters, unless you have like a top tier receiver like a Diggs, Chase, Jefferson, cut before the injury. Like there's not really, you can't really count on them anymore. There's so many teams that are really good at locking down that number one receiver spot, and even running backs at the start of the year. The start of the year through I think 5-6 weeks, RB1, which was Saquon Barkley, had the lowest amount of fantasy points as an RB1 since like 2010. Like it's just been a weird year for NFL offenses, and I think we're starting to see some teams figure it out, but we'll see this week. This week, I think, is the best week in the NFL we've had in a while in terms of matchups. You got your Dolphins and Niners game, but then you also have a couple good division matchups, like the Chargers and Raiders, which could be really fun. Broncos and Ravens might be fun just because the Ravens offense can't really figure it out right now, and the Broncos offense has never been able to figure it out.
Chargers Raiders should not be a good game, in my opinion.
I think it's going to be. It's a division game.
Yeah, I know. It shouldn't. I feel like the Chargers should be way better than
They should be, but they're not.
I think they are. I think they are way better than them, even if they haven't been playing way better than them. I think the Chargers, at least on paper, are way better than the Raiders.
I think the Raiders are completely underachieving right now. So
I guess that's true.
Watching the Chargers firsthand last week, they were dominated in that game to start. I thought that they were just going to go away, and then a couple of breaks went their way. Right, a call for a weird, inexplicable reversal of a fumble recovery that they're able to kind of take the lead and then go back and forth with the Cardinals. But I don't know what Joe Lombardi's doing as an offensive coordinator. To have a player the caliber of Justin Herbert is the true equivalent of having a Porsche driving in a parking lot.
Yep.
Like I know what the defense is giving you. I know that you've got an offensive line that's starting 2 rookies and it's patchwork, and we'll see what Lindsley's status is going forward. But Justin Herbert was throwing the ball 2 yards. 2-3 yards a time, and what he's capable of. I know he didn't have Mike Williams, but he's got Palmer, he's got Carter, he's got Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett's capable, but they just throw the ball short.
Shane Day, the quarterback coach for the Niners, is like the really cool dad who gives his son a super nice car for his birthday, like rich family, and then Lombardi and Staley are like the uptight mom that puts like a speed gauge lock on the car, and you're not allowed to drive fast enough. That team. I love Justin Herbert, and it sucks at fire Brandon Staley. I've been saying it for so long. Okay, another fun game: Jets and Vikings. I think that's going to be a sneaky good game. Obviously, we have a fun one tonight in the Bills and Patriots, which we'll get to later.
Is Mike White the best quarterback in that game?
I think so. But he has about 1.5 weeks, and we've seen it before.
Yeah.
So I think he gets figured out at halftime. But
I think Jags-Lions is going to be the best game.
Jags-Lions is going to be a good game. Yeah, a lot of good games to get to. And we'll talk about them when we recap Week 12 a little bit. But guys, as a reminder, just as we do every show, if you have any questions about your fantasy team, drop them in the chat. We'll get to them by the end of the show. We'll save them. So make sure to do that. If you're watching on Twitter, come over to YouTube. Drop your comments in the chat. All right, let's talk about some of the games last week. We'll start with the Saints not scoring a single point and how Alvin Kamara owners want to die. Are the Niners that good?
Yeah. I mean, it was no scoring in the second half of November for their defense. They hadn't relinquished a point in the second half of the game. DeMeco Ryans is going to be a head coach next year, and they're absolutely just so physical, and the way that they were knocking around Kamara, like I've never seen that in his career at the goal line. Yeah,
is Coach of the Year only for head coaches?
I think so.
Can D coordinators win it?
Don't they have a coordinator?
I think they do.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Well, DeMeco Ryans needs to win that because the adjustments he makes every single game is incredible. Their defense in fantasy is fantastic to have. And if you have anybody on the opposing team, except maybe this week with Miami, I would recommend setting them.
Yeah. From an offensive perspective, I mean, Brandon Ayuk keeps going fucking crazy for the 49ers.
Yeah.
What do you have last week?
Last week he had 65 yards so he didn't do too much last week, but I mean the week before that it was two tutties on 20 yards, but then he had 84 the week before that, 81 the week before that with a touchdown, baby. 82 the week before that. He's been I feel like if you ended up stealing him late in the draft,
or getting him in a trade.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, he ended up being a nice little steal. I don't know why we expect anything from the Saints offense though. Andy Dalton's still their quarterback.
Yeah, why don't they go to Jameis?
I don't.
It's just.
Or Taysom. Andy Dalton is the one that is the only one that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
At least with Taysom, it's like a fun.
Yeah, well, Jameis, it's even more fun.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like Jameis, like you're doing it because you think he's going to be your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Kind of, I guess. I don't really understand why people still think he's going to be an NFL starting quarterback. But, and then Taysom Hill's kind of fun. Andy Dalton is just an old guy. Yeah. He's not your future, and he's not fun.
Well, this game sucked. We're gonna get into. We're gonna fast forward a little bit to next week or this upcoming week on Sunday, where we get two the best teams in the NFL playing each other. Shout out Mina Kimes for that one. Wow. Do you think that, so we obviously know what the Niners are good at defensively, and it's almost everything, but especially in the middle of the field, Fred Warner. Mm-hmm. They like to, but then these are two teams playing each other with the same offense, basically. Because Mike McDaniel, we know this, lots of movement, their offense comes in the middle of the field. Are you worried at all from a fantasy perspective from Jalen Waddle, Tua, or Tyreek Hill against the Saints or against the Niners?
I mean, you should be. It's the top defense in the league, right? I mean, just trying to, if you're playing the matchups and you have other options, you might want to shy away. But I still think Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, probably must starts. You don't avoid that, right? Mm-hmm. And I like that McDaniel has he was coaching up against this defense all year last year. I think he's going to have something up his sleeve to give his quarterback an opportunity to win on a couple drives. I mean, I think that their second half streak ends in this game for sure, and they have the playmaking ability to do it, and Tua just does such a phenomenal job just getting it in their hands. And whether it's, just after the line of scrimmage or if he can find plays downfield, I think he's going to be able to do it. Yeah,
this game should be fun. Super excited for that. Let's talk about something a little sad. Josh Jacobs is, again, the best running back in the NFL. The Seahawks got absolutely trounced on the ground.
Oh, so why is it sad?
Let's talk about Josh Jacobs and how he is the best running back in the NFL right now. Do you disagree?
I don't. I mean,
yeah, it's kind of hard to.
It happens far too often, right? That he emerges at the wrong time and when the season. Well, I mean, last year I guess it worked out because they make the postseason. But I mean, why do people like lose faith in Josh Jacobs at the beginning of the year? Like, what is it? Is it a him problem? Is it a them problem?
It might be a little bit of starting slow. Some players need that.
Plus, I feel like people are generally kind of pessimistic about the Raiders
and just running backs.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Like they're way too damn high on Darren Waller and way too low on Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, Darren Waller I feel like is the one that's always immune to the Raiders effect.
He hasn't played in a very long time. I think he's coming back soon though. So if you have him on your IR like I do in one of my leagues,
is that like putting clown makeup on though? Like and believing?
Yeah, I think I'm going to continue to start Cole Kmet over him.
Do you think it's fair to say that the top is the best runner in football running back?
The best runner?
Yeah, like rusher, I guess. Is the best.
No, it's Lamar Jackson.
Is it Lamar? It's not Justin Fields? Well, so what I was originally going to say is there a running back in the top 3 rushers?
Jalen Hurts just went for 152.
Yeah. I think it's so hard. Look, it's so hard because running backs look a lot better when the threat of them throwing is there. I'm sure if the threat of Deebo Samuel throwing the ball was there.
Could you imagine if defenses had to think that Derrick Henry was going to throw the football?
Yeah, so
I mean that's fair.
I think it's impossible to say. When it comes to open field, I mean the most elusive runner in the NFL is Lamar Jackson. Yeah. I think overall it's Josh Allen and from a quarterback perspective,
Josh Allen's the most unstoppable. I feel like
he's a super soldier. But Justin Fields, you can't tackle much either. I don't know.
And same with Jalen. I mean, Jalen went crazy this week.
Yeah, that was just poor tackling. That Green Bay defense is so sorry right now.
But you're riding Josh Jacobs to potential ship?
Yeah, I think that at this point, he's almost a flyer. When it comes to running backs, I'm not saying you grabbed him late round, but you definitely didn't. He probably wasn't a top 8 guy you would have drafted.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was a lot of the running backs this year, like with the exception of like an Austin Eckler, I guess.
I think the only Eckler, Saquon, and CMC.
But even Saquon was a flyer because you didn't know hasn't really been hurt the last.
He was a first round pick.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like you did that knowing damn well you didn't fully know what you were getting.
That's not a flyer though. That's a risk. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, the running backs. We just need more Jamal Charleses and all these electric. You know what I'm saying? We need these Clinton Portises who are just gonna bell cows like Jamal Williams. We need more of those guys. Who, if you got, that's a flyer. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, that is a league winner. Love that man so much, and I love that he loves Pokemon. All right, let's move on. Cards and Chargers. Have we talked about this enough?
Talk a little bit more.
Sure. You guys have broken it down thoroughly many times this week. If you want to check that out, watch PHNX Cardinals, watch their post-game show, watch everything they talked about this week. But from a fantasy perspective, other than DeAndre Hopkins, is there anybody you want on the Cardinals team?
Yeah, I mean, Connor. You should be encouraged by that offense performance. I know that it cost them at the end, obviously, with the 3 possessions where they had 9 plays and 16 yards, and that's not winning a football game.
Yeah.
But as far as what they do fantasy-wise, like Kyler, I think, is back. Kyler had 3 total touchdowns. He had the 1 bad interception. He lit up some rushing yards. I think he could put you in a pretty good position. And then, like Shawn said, James Conner looks good. He's getting 95% of the touches out of the backfield.
25 carries for 120.
Caught a ball in the backfield for a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins, and then Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, I think is, he's playing he's running a lot of slot routes, and he didn't have a ton of yardage, he didn't find the end zone, but he's going to be in the mix. So I like those guys. I don't like McBride. I don't like many of the other receivers, but I think the usual suspects for the Cardinals they can probably help you to a title this year.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I feel like those big four, I guess, like James Conner and D-Hop are the ones that I'm just like 100% confident in. Obviously, especially again the scoring in our league, like a guy like Kyler has the potential to put a numbies any given fantasy week.
But even in traditional formats, I mean, any rushing quarterback that can score a rushing touchdown and throw multiple passing touchdowns is going to get you some major numbies.
Yeah. So Connor and D-Hop are the ones that I'm like, I feel like are a must start kind of any week. But after that, Marquise and Kyler are definitely very viable fantasy options.
The Bucks and the Browns, they played a game, went to overtime. And Brady's still going to make the playoffs, even though they're 5-6.
Falcons are going to win the division. Falcons are hanging on. Falcons are hanging on to the NFC
As a Mike Evans owner, I'm concerned. Should I be concerned? He has looked bad.
Yeah, I feel like that's dating back to the end of last year, too.
Yeah. But he had a pretty strong start to the year this year.
Yeah.
But Chris Godwin came
Mike Evans makes me sad because I feel like he is the most underrated has been the most underrated receiver in the league over the last few years. But like now he's starting to kind of seem like he's being rated.
Yeah, properly.
So I don't really know. If it's not Rachaad White, the Bucks kind of
is he running into some really good corners? I mean, is that an issue? I know we've seen
Mike Evans?
some big drops, right? I mean, in his division, you got Terrell, right, for Atlanta.
I mean, they were playing against the Seahawks last week, Rams the week before that, and Ravens, Panthers, Steelers, Falcons all before that.
Panthers, J.C. Horn's playing at a high level.
Yeah.
Tariq Woolen did a good job on him in the Seahawks game. But I think bottom line is everyone kind of looks like they're doing a good job on him because his separation just isn't there right now. Also, it's a combination. Brady's just missing. He threw like 5 go balls to Mike Evans. They didn't catch any of them. 2 was Mike Evans' fault. The other 3 were overthrows. So I don't know. They're 5-6 right now. They're going to win the division. They're going to make the playoffs, and they are going to the NFC Championship. And I'm going to be so angry. I just it's
the most predictable thing ever.
It sucks.
It's just
you think they're going to win not only a wild card round but a divisional round?
It's game? Tom Brady.
I know, but
because
he seems mortal this year.
No, because you say that, and then we're going to get to the playoffs, and it's going to be like first round. Who the Bucks have? Oh, Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings in prime time. Are you betting against Tom Brady in that situation? Because I'm not. And then worst case scenario, they play a quarterback who's never played in the playoffs and just a new team in the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship. And it's like, oh, and now they're in the Super Bowl. Yeah. How did we not see this coming?
Yeah. And they're in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and they have the advantage of the Chiefs, and and Brady wins again.
Or it's the Bills, and then it's like, oh, it's Tom Brady against the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. We've seen this story for the last 20 years.
Okay, let's. It's worse.
Oh my God, I'm gonna stop.
We gotta stop. Let's stop talking about this. Are the Bucks good? Are the Browns good? Are we excited for Deshaun? Oh, no, not excited.
Hey, are we excited for a ton of rust?
Them to be a little better?
Ton of rust. Remember how bad he was in the preseason?
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant's not that bad, man. Like, obviously, it's a significant upgrade.
Amari Cooper is wide receiver 1,
dude,
in the NFL right now.
Oh my God. Oh,
that's an exaggeration, but he's top 5. I think he's 5.
Yeah, he's playing out of his mind, and wait until he has.
How do we just forget how good he is? Like, I feel like everyone just forgot.
He was in Cleveland.
Yeah,
and who gives a shit about the city of Cleveland? To be honest.
Yep. Unless you're Darius Garland,
I hate Cleveland so much.
He has disappearing act games, though. I feel like.
Yeah, but it's the Browns. Like, and he's got Jacoby Brissett.
But he had that with Dallas too.
That's fair. Yeah, that is fair.
But still, at the end of the year, you look at his numbers and like, well, he's pretty
good. That's a league winner.
Yeah,
that's a total.
Yeah,
league
no,
winner.
I'm very high on Amari. I think it's the Cowboys, but it's the Cowboys. The Cowboys were. I just was never like the Cowboys when Jason Garrett was their coach, and then. Now it's the Browns. They've had Jacoby Brissett thrown to him. I'm interested to see what happens once he has what's probably a good quarterback.
From Deshaun Watson coming back?
Nick Chubb.
Chubb?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's probably Amari Cooper realistically, but it's kind of hard.
I think Chubb's going to stop running into loaded boxes, though.
I don't. Yeah, I just it's Chubb's been so good that it's like hard for me to say that like him or Amari are going to take like a massive leap.
Are they going to start running RPOs with Nick Chubb?
Oh my God,
That would be terrifying.
Oh my god!
But if
he's never had that.
Peoples Jones, does he become?
Yeah,
like
I feel like it's gonna be
DVJ's kind of legit.
I was gonna say I feel like it's going to be either him or Njoku, something like that, like one of these peripheral guys.
They got some pass catchers, man.
Yeah, that might be able to form a relationship.
Not that bad. I mean, as a tight end too, there.
If their defense can just figure that a little bit, Grant Delpit, I'm looking at you. He's been so bad. Yeah. All right, let's stop talking about that. Bengals and Titans. Oh, Derrick Henry.
I don't. Bengals confuse me.
Well, the Bengals these last 2 weeks have silenced me.
Yeah, because the Titans' defense has been good, and
the Bengals only put up 20.
But Burrow looked good against their defense.
Yeah, he's looked good this whole year.
Yeah, I mean it's Joe Burrow. He's a good quarterback.
And is La'el Collins okay? Do we know?
I mean, their offensive line still remains.
I think La'el Collins. Yeah, I think they're better without La'el Collins.
The big thing.
To go 3-1 without Jamar Chase and now have Chase coming back. That's I applaud them for that. That's pretty solid. Now, right back in the thick of things is the AFC playoff picture. I mean, to get them back at full strength offensively, is Mixon. Is he going to come back anytime soon, or are they going to run?
Yeah, I think he practiced this week.
Okay.
I know it's just concussions protocol, just concussion.
Just his head.
Yeah, but yeah,
just his old.
We'll talk about Perine later. Titans, I think they're so good. The Bengals, I don't think they win that division just because I think the Ravens have a very easy schedule. I think the Ravens win that division easily, but
the Titans to me are just like the most who gives a shit team ever because we all. But like from a fantasy perspective, who are you really interested outside of Derrick Henry?
Yeah,
and then we know what they're going to do in the playoffs, which is nothing.
You're not a Westbrook-Akina guy?
No.
Damn, that sucks.
But like they're like,
we'll talk about somebody you might be interested.
Yeah, fair enough.
In a little bit. But yeah, the Bengals. They're doing all of this without Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase will be back this week. So if you have him, like me.
Are you worried? Because I have him as well.
You're worried?
Yeah.
I'm
excited.
I'm excited, and I'm excited to have all my receivers back.
What are you worried
about?
Starting
him.
You don't think he's healthy?
Well, not that he's not. I just maybe like
he was.
It just always concerns me when I'm playing a player that's coming back from.
Yeah, but he was a 90% go this last week, and they decided not to play him. He's got an extra week.
It's just plus now. Yeah, I don't know. It concerns me. I hope I don't.
You've been hurt before.
I haven't hurt before.
You don't want to be hurt.
As a T. Higgins owner, I'm scared.
Well, I don't think you should be. I think T. Higgins is better with Jamar Chase on the field because he's not the wide receiver one.
Yeah.
All right. Packers, Eagles. Hurts is him. Anything else?
Jordan Love, maybe him in the future.
Jordan Love has arm talent. We know that now.
Yeah.
We literally haven't seen him at all. So,
if you're an Aaron Rodgers owner, are you concerned about what the future
Why are you an Aaron Rodgers owner?
It's just been a tough year.
Why? But I have leagues where Russell Wilson's still on my roster. So
okay, go pick up Mike White.
I don't play him ever. I actually don't know if he's still on my roster.
If you're an Aaron Rodgers owner, go pick up Mike White. Yeah.
Go pick up Jordan Love. I just don't know if he. I'm just curious if he.
Miles Sanders working out for you?
I don't have Miles Sanders anymore.
You traded him. Miles Sanders is working out for Totre. He had a big.
Yeah.
He's kind of good.
But Olave's been working out for me, so. I'll take it.
Bo, how's your team doing?
Let's not talk about that, actually.
What happened this last week in fantasy,
I've pivoted to Underdog full time as far as the daily fantasy.
Interesting. Well, if you want to pivot,
full season.
If you want to pivot to Underdog like Bo and your season-long fantasy isn't going well, you can do daily fantasy on the Underdog fantasy app, or you can use their pick-up game. Just look for your favorite or your Aaron Rodgers least favorite players' stats. Pick between 2 and 5 players for your pick-up entry, and whether you think they'll end up higher or lower than the total stat in this week's game. Get all your picks right. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Have you guys had any big wins lately? I've been getting shelled a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I've been getting shelled by the World Cup a little bit.
I didn't even realize you could do that.
Yeah, I had a nice little pick'em slate for US's win over Iran. I was right about all of my Pulisic.
You're also right
picks.
about the pronunciation there. Good job.
Yes. I don't know if I was right about the Pulisic pronunciation. I still don't know how to pronounce the motherfucker's name. I think it's
I don't think he does either.
But I was right about all of my pick'ems related to him. And I hit on the Iranian goalkeepers higher on saves.
Nice.
Because he was kind of getting shelled. But I added a couple other ones in there. I was just trying to boost the odds a little bit, and it didn't really work out for me. So be smart with your money.
I've just been crushing the higher lower and then getting myself some insurance. So you can put in a pretty penny and get get a bunch back. If you put up to 5 picks, higher or lower from one game, you can really do a lot of damage, especially if you got I'll always go with the Cardinals game. It sucks that they have a bye week, so I'm gonna have to pick another team that I've got some insight on. I might be riding that Washington Commanders train that's just been fruitful the last couple of weeks.
Huge on the Commanders,
but you can
on the
you make up to 5 picks, you get that insurance. It takes a little bit of the edge off as far as what you're gonna get in return. But I feel like I come out a big fat winner every time, regardless. If I go 3 of 5, it's a winner.
Also, Underdog Fantasy, the funniest place to do pick'ems because it has Brian Robinson in his big hat already.
Yeah, and they have Joe Burrow and his Joe Shiesty with the chains and the fur coat.
So if you want to get in on this action, you can search in the App Store, click the link in the show notes. You sign up with the promo code PHNX, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to 100 smackaroos. $100. So make sure to do that. It's Underdog Fantasy. Promo code PHNX. Get in on the action today. Guys, do you like anything tonight or over the weekend on Underdog's Pick'em?
I'll
start with mine. Josh Allen, higher than 47.5 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Belichick defenses struggle against rushing quarterbacks. That's why I don't understand why everyone loves the Patriots tonight.
Yeah, me either.
Give me Josh Allen, and it's higher on rushing yards.
Why does this James Cook 15.5 rushing yards look a little tasty? A little higher.
The higher?
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting a few more touches these days.
I'm looking at the rivals part of the Underdog Pick'em. Josh Allen to have, McCorkle Jones to have fewer interceptions than Josh Allen. Josh has been sloppy with the football. I think the Bills win this game, but probably not without a Josh interception or two. It's McCorkle Jones, so there's always a good chance that he throws a pick, but I just, with how sloppy the Josh Allen.
What do you think about Josh Allen getting 10 yards against Devin Singletary?
I thought about that. I like that as well. I think I'm still really not fully sold on any part of the Bills rushing offense. Devin Singletary
kind of looks good, though.
He does. No, he does for sure. The Bills rushing attack is just all, I need to see them keep doing it before I believe that they're a legitimate rushing attack that is not Josh
How
Allen.
about despite Johnny, give me Devin Singletary with 13.5 extra yards against Hunter Henry receiving.
I like that.
I like that you can go Nick Folk versus Tyler Bass, just field goals made.
Where's that?
Give me Nick Folk more field goals made, because Bills defense is going to lock down in the red zone.
That's crazy.
And Josh Allen's going to throw a couple interceptions in the red zone, and Tyler Bass won't get his opportunity.
Bo?
I mean, I'm all over this.
You're just James cooking up.
I liked your Singletary just with the Singletary over. What was the total yardage there?
Singletary is higher than 53.5 rush yards.
But I mean, these are. But then you look at the rush yards. I'll take Ramondre over James over.
Ramondre's receptions, I think, is free.
How do you feel about Josh Allen plus 17.5 rush yards versus Ramondre Stevenson?
I think I take Ramondre Stevenson.
I kind of was thinking that too, to be honest with you. It'll be interesting to see what the Bills' defense looks like, because they're starting to get healthier. So it's interesting.
Yep. Lots to look at there. You can also do daily fantasy, which we will be doing at the end of the show. K-Money, I see your comment. We'll get to it at the end of the show. But for now, it's time for winners and woofs. We'll start with you, Bo. Who's your winner this week?
My winner? Now, how do you guys play this game as far as...
Shawn, we'll start with you. Who's your winner this week?
My winner... I mean, honestly, it's got to be Josh Jacobs, right? Like, motherfucker's just as good now. And I think... I feel like not, I guess, casual football fans are just kind of tuned out the loss... I almost said the Los Angeles Raiders. What?
Whoa.
What?
That's not a team.
They almost.
Team.
Yeah, they were. The Los Angeles Raiders.
Oh.
Come on now. The Las Vegas Raiders. I feel like people kind of tune them out after the start of the season. Josh Jacobs, like you said, might be the best running back in football right now. So he's kind of got to be my winner.
So you're picking one player to get
one player, one team, one coach.
One time it was a mom.
My winner. Who?
I chose one of the Twins. I forget what team it was. There was twins that both made their NFL debut at the same time, and then one of them scored the game-winning touchdown for like the Lions or something like that.
My winner this week is Mike McDaniel, because he's probably been my winner a couple times. But one, he's just so awesome. But two, I don't know if you guys saw the video that came out of him talking with Tua, like taking jabs at him, saying Georgia's definitely the best SEC team of all time, right? Like, he's just so fun and he's hilarious.
Yeah.
There was a great TikTok I saw also from the same game where he was like, clock it, clock it, clock it, clock it, clock it, and he kept saying it really fast. And he goes, clock it. And then they clock it. He's like, nice. He's just so funny. Such a good guy to be around. And I'm excited for him in this matchup on Sunday. It's going to be so fun.
I get it. I get the what the game is. I'm going to go with Justin Fields. Now, I know it's up in the air whether or not he's going to play.
He's full participant in practice today.
He saw what what Jalen Hurts did against this Packers defense and put up, 150. He wants a piece of that. He wants to beat the Packers. Change the narrative around that against that team. Justin Fields is him this week. I think that's the guy. Also, I'll say this. It's also a good week to be a Seahawks fan. I think that they roll over the Rams and get back on track.
They are 7.5-point favorites in LA.
Yeah. Yep.
That is ridiculous. Shawn, you got a loser?
It's the Detroit Lions. I mean, the Buffalo Bills have as many wins in your stadium this year as you do.
That's so tragic.
That's a really, really tough look. And I think over the last Bills have, I don't think, have lost in that stadium over the last decade. Something crazy. But yeah, that's pretty tragic when you're not the most winning team in your own home stadium.
Well,
I'm going to go with the Browns and Deshaun Watson. I think that they're not going to win this game as easily as they should. And people are going to be questioning, once again, as they should, what they gave up and how much they paid Deshaun Watson. Yeah, I'm going with that.
Yeah, my winner next week already is Jacoby Brissett because he's going to sit there. He's going to be sitting on the bench laughing.
I almost went with the Broncos just because they are just to steal from the Browns. It's a factory of sadness.
I did the Broncos last week.
Yeah,
it could be them every week at this rate. Or Wolf Ciara for throwing a birthday party for Russell Wilson that no one showed up to.
It was half
allegedly.
his teammates, right? Nobody's friends with everybody on the team,
yeah,
right?
No, I know. It's just
Especially
this point, it's just so easy and it's so funny. I kind of feel bad for Russ, but at the same time, not really.
My wolf this week is the LA Rams. Aaron Donald is not playing this weekend. They are totally injured. This isn't just a Super Bowl hangover. This is like you wake up in jail. It's so bad. The salary cap is real, and the Rams are dead.
Making mortgage payments on that future they mortgaged.
Tragic.
You want to know something crazy about the Underdog app is that they have that picture of J-Rob already in his hat, but they don't have pictures for Kenneth Walker or Chris Olave.
Yeah.
No respect for the rookies.
Really? Just a cutout?
Just the white circle.
Wow. It's disrespectful.
A little bit. You got to earn it. All
right. It's time for buy or sell, and we're doing something a little different in this week's segment. Instead of just buying or selling players that are probably on rosters, maybe trade for, trade away. Since we're getting close to playoffs, I want to tell you guys a little story.
Okay.
Last year,
story time.
Last year, I was about the same place I was this year, 9-3. Definitely in the playoffs, trying to get that number 1 seed. But I forget what running back I had, but I had a running back go down. And I was looking for a guy. It's somewhere on waivers, available in most leagues. I came across one, Damian Williams, who wasn't doing much that year for the Chiefs, but he was something. Picked him up, and he averaged like 25 points a game in the playoffs and scored 30 in my championship week. These are the type of guys that you need to find right now to win your fantasy leagues, and we're going to try to help you find them. I don't know if you guys have already listened to some of what we've given, but we've given out Rachaad White, who, if you're not Bo, you still have him on your team, and maybe he's not available in your league. He's probably not available now. We've given out him. We've given out somebody that's might be doing something in Kyron Williams. He had the most receptions out of anybody on the Rams last week. Could get some more playing time, but we're gonna potentially give out 6 more. We'll see what the verdict is.
Okay.
So let's start with the first one. This is a guy that's available in most leagues. Had a huge week last week. But is he gonna keep producing? We'll see. Zay Jones, wide receiver for the Jaguars. Do we like him?
I mean, do you want Sean's opinion or Sean's objective opinion? Because if you're getting Sean's opinion, it's sell Zay Jones until the end of time.
That's his former
Bills legend Zay Jones. Real opinion, I don't trust the offensively. The Jaguars concern me as a Christian Kirk owner,
beginning
of the year, I thought, oh, Christian Kirk is the greatest receiver of all time, it seems. And then he kind of disappeared for a little bit. And then I think the last couple of weeks he's done okay. So I mean, naturally, they're just a little too inconsistent for me to trust a wide receiver 2 on their team to be someone that can actually contribute to my hopes of winning a fantasy championship.
His Buffalo Bills days reminds me that I talked smack to another fantasy owner that had played Zay Jones in a big game against me, and I smack talked him, and I don't want to have that old take exposed, so I'm going to continue to trash Zay Jones just because he has played better for the Jags. Was a big part of their comeback win last week, but I'm selling Zay Jones just on principle.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a couple ways to look at these type of guys. You look at past performances, usage rates, and whatnot, but you can also look at guys that are behind a guy or two on the depth chart. You're not rooting for an injury, but if something were to happen, he's on your roster. Here's a guy that can do that for you. He's had a couple big weeks. Last week I think he scored a touchdown. Did Deandre Carter get in the end zone again?
Last week,
Deandre Carter,
73 yards for a touchdown. I mean, I'm selling. He in the last
even with the potential of him being wide receiver 2.
I really like Carter. I like him for the Cowboys. I like him.
He's no Joshua Palmer, but
he plays the slot. As far as the way that they're throwing the football, they're not stretching the field. He's a guy that does a lot of underneath stuff. I know his touchdown was kind of on the outside, but I like Carter a lot. It seems like Justin Herbert likes Carter a lot, and that means the most in this situation. He can have a good game, and he can have a great game with a tutty.
Yeah.
So I like Carter.
I think it's like if you are in a situation where you for some reason have like a second defense on your bench or a second quarterback on your bench, and you have a spot for him, then sure. I think if you are having to decide between someone that could also contribute, I would just kind of stick with what you got. So I guess this is like a conditional buy, but it really depends on the situation for me.
Yeah. All right. Here's another guy that's behind somebody. Wasn't behind him these last 2 weeks because of a concussion, but Joe Mixon hasn't been able to stay healthy much. Here's This is Johnny if he was a running back. Samaje Perine, the scat back himself. He had a really fun run last week. Obviously, 2 weeks ago he had 3 touchdowns through the air. What do you guys make of Samaje? Little stash guy.
Yeah. I think he is like Alexander Mattinson, right, from the Vikings. Was it last year? Maybe 2 years ago, or was a guy that I had on my bench the entire year because Dalvin Cook went down and he was like one of the best running backs of football when he had those kinds of touches. So I mean, it's another thing where if you have space for him, definitely I think worth the stash.
Yeah, I mean when you've got a player that like Mixon, who his status for the rest of the season could be up and down. Why not have that handcuff if you have the if you have the roster space, obviously, but like Mattinson, it's somebody. If you have Dalvin Cook, you got to have that guy, in case he's not available because say you're out of fab or whatever, to be able to have to go back and pick him up, it becomes a lot tougher this time of year.
He's available in 44% of ESPN leagues right now. Probably going to be back to his third down-ish role, but. You never know.
From a daily fantasy perspective, absolutely. If you're in a situation where, Mixon's not playing, then I
definitely
certainly value that.
Definitely a good option there. All right, we'll look at the next one. Teased him a little bit earlier. Johnny's favorite wide receiver, Treylon Burks, the Tennessee Titan. What do you think about Treylon Burks?
I mean, I got it for consistency's sake at the very least. Like I said earlier, I'm not really interested in anybody on this offense that is not Derrick Henry. So I'll sell from that perspective for that reason.
I mean, somebody has to catch the football.
Yeah, fair enough. Not if they're not throwing it.
Was he the benefit? Was he the one that landed on the football after Derrick Henry fumbled?
Yeah,
and broke my heart after 69 yards.
Yep,
scampering down the field,
rumbling,
stumbling. Bumbling.
What do they count that as?
That's a fumble recovery touchdown.
Okay, so it's not
he gets 6, right? He gets 6 points in traditional leagues. That hurts.
But let's go over. You want to talk about consistency? Let's go over the last 2 weeks. I mean, he got back from injury 3 weeks ago against Denver, 3 for 24. Targeted 6 times though. Against Green Bay, 7 for 111, 8 targets, and last week 4 for 76 targets. Getting 6 targets a game.
When he's not going up against elite secondaries, that's good.
Yep. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just you look at.
Here's my thing, Shawn DePaz. You're not gonna like any of these guys. They're on the wire for a reason.
No, I know.
Turns his nose up on all. I mean, but see him navigate the waiver wire on his own.
Listen. I'm very much.
Are you this picky in your love life too?
Yeah. I admittedly am not a very active waiver wire kind of guy. Like I tend to stick with the kind of guys that I have as long as I can. But like I said, I just am not really. I'm not going to sit here and then later on start shaking my fist at the gods when a Titans offensive player lets me down later in the year. He's
had solid back.
But will you be shaking your fist?
But look at the weeks before that.
Will you be shaking your fist?
He was injured and then he went against Patrick Surtain.
That's fair. I mean, the week before that in Indianapolis,
he's been injured. He was injured from weeks 5 through 9.
So he got injured in that Indianapolis game?
No, he got injured in week 5.
He was IR'd for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Why did he has stats in this Colts game?
No, he doesn't.
That's what it says on here.
All right. Well,
I think Treylon Burks, if he's available in a 12-team league, you pick him up.
Yeah, I think so too. Will you be shaking your fist if he goes crazy and you didn't pick him up?
No.
See, that's crazy to me. All right, let's move on to the next guy. Sean's going to like this one. Isiah Pacheco.
Yeah, I call him Pikachu. He's an electric little rat. Yeah, I'm in. This is like the opposite of the Titans for me. Like, insert Colts offensive player here, and it's worth it in my opinion.
Well, here's the thing that's confusing to me. Like a guy that's in the last 3 weeks, 16, 15, and 22 carries. And he's available in 61% of leagues.
I feel like he's
is dead, guys.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been monitoring Pacheco for far too long, and he just hasn't done enough for me to pick him up.
I mean, that's fair.
I think he did last week.
Yeah.
What did he do last week exactly?
22, 69, and got in the end zone. But the week before that against the Chargers, he went for 107. 15 carries, 107. He's
2 the week before
he's turning into a bell cow back that also has a burst of speed. I mean, I really like Pacheco. If he's available in your leagues, I'd grab him now. Because, again, Damian Williams was a guy that wasn't doing much, and then he started getting some carries. When the Chiefs like their guys at the end of the year, they're going to go to him. If he can continue production, this is an absolute league winner here. If he can continue it.
Yeah, I like it.
Because getting 15 extra points from a position, if you're starting AJ Dillon or somebody in a 12-man league, you're kind of screwed in the playoffs. So are we all agreeing buying there?
Yes.
Last one. This one's not very fun, but hey, got to talk about him because he's kind of a wide receiver 1 now. Richie James, wide receiver for the New York Football Giants.
I feel like I'm out on every Giant.
Yeah, they are again. The Tennessee Titans.
You know how many? What percent of leagues he's rostered in?
23.
1% of leagues. That's why we got to talk about him. If you're in a 12 or 14-man league,
if you got the roster spot,
if you have a roster spot, I don't hate it. I think there's better options out there.
I'm not interested in their pass attack.
Rick?
Or Rich.
He had a 3-week stint against Seattle and then a bye in Houston where he didn't register a target.
Rick James, bitch.
But in every other game he's had,
couch.
He's been averaging 3.5 or more targets a game. 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games he's played. I mean, there's just not a lot of options. Kenny Galladay is not a lot.
Roster just because he'd be Rick James.
He can be Rick James.
My team name, I'm Rick James, bitch.
Yeah, if anything, pick him up for the team name. Yeah. Do you guys have anybody you want to bring up in terms of might be available on the waiver wire?
Mike White, Miguel Blanco.
Miguel Blanco.
Let's get after him. I mean,
Johnny Perine.
You just ride him until you can't, right? I mean, there's some bye weeks, people with Kyler Murray or other starting quarterbacks that might not be out there. I mean, you can go Mike White. You look at Trevor Lawrence if he hasn't rostered in your league. He probably should be at this point, but White is absolutely available, and it seems like did you see the stat where the last 300-yard games have come from Flacco, Mike White? It's everybody but Zach Wilson in that offense can sling it downfield, and Mike White, he's probably going to throw a couple picks this time around, but he's going to put up some points. So I like Mike White if you're trying to just do 1 week this week against the Vikings, right? Isn't that who they're playing? That's not exactly the best secondary, and Peterson's probably going to get toasted after his comments this week.
Yeah, I don't really have anybody, to be honest. Like I said, I'm not a huge kind of waiver wire guy. I if you're like me, I'm sorry. Get rid of the Packers defense. I don't know why I've had them so long.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I don't know. I don't anymore. I'm in on the commies defense. But yeah, otherwise I'm feeling good going to the playoffs, towards the end of the season.
Some other names I might like. Claypool is available in all the leagues still. 60% rostered.
What's his target share looking like these days?
Not good at all.
Okay.
But it's still Chase Claypool.
I mean, he had Simeon last week, right?
So
but and he was still getting incorporated in the offense. I like him as a kind of a flyer.
I've had Hayden Hurst on my bench, who I honestly like if you need a tight end. With
all tight
even
ends.
with Jamar Chase coming back.
All tight ends are the same.
Yeah, all tight ends are kind of the same. But I mean, rostered in 67.5% of NFL fantasy leagues. It really depends on who your tight end is. But if you need someone to fill the spot, you could do worse than Hayden Hurst.
I feel like if you want to stash a guy to stream next week, Patriots play the Cardinals Monday Night Football. They've given up 9 touchdowns to the tight end position. That becomes, like it was a couple of years ago, a parody of itself. You stream a tight end against them.
Are you saying Hunter Henry?
Hunter Henry.
Johnny's in the chat.
Yeah,
thing.
I agree with that. I think one of those guys can cash you in, maybe win you a game on Monday Night Football.
Here's a fun one. Mecole Hardman. A lot of people dropped him because he's on IR. Should be back by week 15.
He's also a liar on social media. He tried that whole
the fake
broken
TV
thing.
Yeah.
I don't want that type of player on my roster when I'm trying to have good mojo.
But if you need wide receiver
postseason.
depth, that's a guy.
I do want that kind of player on my roster. Yeah.
Anything else before we get on to the war room? No? All right. Well, it's time for our War Room daily fantasy draft we do for every Thursday night game. Espo went from 0 wins to 3 wins. After we had 2, I had 2, you had 1. Espo now has 3. He's won 3 in a row. That can't happen, and it's not going to happen this week. It's not going to happen this week. Hopefully. But it's just this easy. All I have to do is send a link to the guys via text. They click on the link, and then they join. And then we get going just for the games tonight. And it's just standard half PPR formats. And yeah, most points win. I think it's all flex. So yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna be sick if I lose this and the Bills lose. I might not ever be on the show again. We'll see. I guess. I need to win, right? Like I am not. I've never been more educated going into a draft.
That's true.
It's my team and a divisional opponent.
And to get back to our Carter conversation real quick, Schefter reporting that Mike Williams was another non-participant today. So
there you go.
Look at that. All right, I'm entering this $3 entry. Perfect. Who's up first?
We find out in a second. I'm in.
How do we work the quarterbacks? Right?
I think I'm first. There are just 2. Oh, it's Shane first, Bo second, me third. Tragic. Tragedy is struck.
Hey guys.
Tragedy is struck.
That your third?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I will go Josh Allen. Yeah.
So how does the quarterback position work?
Everybody's a flex.
Oh.
So if you don't get a quarterback, it sucks.
Got it. All
right. I mean. Do you want Mac Jones?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll be right in the spot for Mac Jones, and I have no interest. Yeah, that's tragic. Just not gonna get either of my guys.
It's okay. Ooh, Aaron in the chat saying he kept Pacheco based on my advice a couple weeks ago. Thumbs up. Thank you. It's good. Happy to help.
Did you draft yet?
It's the draft still.
It starts in
10 seconds.
Oh, got it.
11 seconds. 10. 9.
But yeah, it's just this easy on the Underdog Fantasy app. If you don't have any friends, you can do it by yourself with random people, or
walk through your old
hang out in our
like
Discord. I'd be happy to do them with you. With the first overall pick, give me Josh Allen.
Fuck off.
I'm gonna take this guy named Stephon Diggs.
Fuck off.
He's quite good at the football.
Taking Ramondre. Just stay away from me, McCorkle.
Really?
I have no. I feel like I have to. He's a quarterback.
All right.
I really hate McCorkle Jones.
I'll take Gabe Davis.
Tragic.
Okay, rushing game. I guess give me Devin Singletary, and then give me a guy who's been really good. Dawson Knox think he's going to get in the end zone tonight.
Stop it. Probably, but stop it.
I'll take the wide receiver 1 for the New England Patriots. Give me Jacoby Myers.
Where's Devontae Parker?
Oh.
He can't separate, so he's probably getting smothered by somebody.
Isaiah McKenzie worries me.
That was a guy I almost put on the league winner buy or sell.
I would have said sell.
Yeah.
Do I draft a kicker here?
Tyler Bass, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Big Bass, and I cannot lie.
Yeah, that's fair.
I got another one. Staying away from Isaiah McKenzie still. Yeah, I guess I gotta go to Devontae.
You'll take Devontae over Isaiah McKenzie?
Isaiah McKenzie worries me. He's the number 3, and I'm
gonna jump on that.
I know a number 3 in the Bills' offense might be better than a number 2 in the Patriots, but
with the last pick, Johnny Venerable's Hive Mind selects Hunter Henry.
Nick Folk staying on the board.
I've got the most projected points.
And it doesn't matter ever.
I have the worst projected points.
Diggs, Davis, Jacoby Myers, McKenzie, just all wide receiver all the time.
Shane has Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, Dawson Knox, and Hunter Henry. That seems kind of like a personal attack, but it's okay. And I'm sitting here with Ramondre Stevenson, Michael McCorkle-Jones, Tyler Bass, and Devontae Parker, which also seems like a personal attack on myself.
That is disgusting.
I hate it. But hey, I guess that's emotional hedging. Because if the Bills lose today, I'll be happy and I might win here.
Yep, guys, just that easy on the Underdog Fantasy app that took 3 minutes, and you get the shit talk with your friends. You don't have to play for a lot of coin, but you can if you want.
Am I playing for Espo? Does he get my win?
No, he does not.
Okay.
That was the War Room.
Guest bar at the bottom.
Guys, get your questions in now. We got some in the chat. We will be answering them before we close out. Let's get to the first one.
I have one as well.
Got sent at the top of the show from a name with 2. Oh, K Money. K Money says Pittman and Evans for Waddle and Eagles defense. What side? I would rather be getting Waddle just because I always think.
I'm taking Waddle. And
my whole theory is, if you give up the best player in the trade, you lose the trade. I think Waddle's the best player in the trade, but not by a lot. It depends if you need wide receiver depth. If you need wide receiver depth and you're getting back Pittman and Evans, I mean, if you're trading at defense and he's kind of got his value, that's perfect. Because that looks to me that all I'm seeing is Pittman and Evans for Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, more or less.
Eagles defense doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What side do you like more?
I'm with you. Waddle.
You want to be getting Waddle back in that trade?
Yeah, I mean, it is like you said. If you need receiver depth,
that's some good receiver depth.
That is very good receiver depth. But if you're in a position where you're just looking to improve on your receivers, like Jalen Waddle is
if you are okay giving up Pittman and Evans because you have 2, wide receivers that are able to be played every week, then yes.
And I mean, it is a defense, but like if you've been like me, where you've kind of been in defensive purgatory for the entire season. Eagles defense is like marginal value, but there's some value there, I guess. Depends on who. I mean, unless they're playing a team with a good running back, then I'm not really interested.
Aaron in the chat saying, for future drafts, would you choose Kelsey and Mahomes for the first 2 picks until they drop off? I don't believe in picking quarterbacks until at least round 6, but these 2 are ridiculous.
I don't believe in picking running back or quarterbacks until round 6 unless it is Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and now it kind of seems like Justin Fields and they're not there yet, but Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts are starting to move closer to that territory.
Yeah. Unless you're getting Josh Allen in like a spot where you're not going to be drafting for a while, maybe. But like I took Josh Allen in one of my leagues because he fell very far. And I was just like kind of the first person to take a quarterback, and then they all went. So if you're in that spot, like you just really have to play it by ear. Yeah. I don't think drafting a quarterback in the second round is ever viable, ever. That's just my opinion. I think round 3 is probably the money spot if you're going to get Mahomes or Josh Allen. But in reality,
first 2 picks in the first 2 picks of the first round are your first 2 picks. Because I mean, if you manage to get Kelsey and Mahomes in the first 2 rounds, I don't think that's bad.
Because you think of the value here. Yeah. Let's say you get Mahomes in the second round. Who else is available there? You got guys like Kelsey are available in the second round. So who could you grab in the first round?
I mean,
you drop Kelsey not going in the first round this year?
Should
borderline first and second round.
I mean, the Kelsey thing is good, and you could. I mean, the stack of Mahomes and Kelsey's great, but you could stack Kelsey with getting a wide receiver 1.
Yeah. Here's this is why I say this. In my 12-man league, I drafted Chase, I think 7th, or 6th or something. And then on the comeback, I got Stephon Diggs. And then in round 3, I got Josh Allen. That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's what because you don't want to go 1 and 2 because you're missing out on a Diggs in round 2 or a Chase in round 1. That's how I look at it. This person asked, do I trade Higgins for Andrews? My other wide receivers are Olave, Evans, Keenan, McLaurin. This is a 2-flex league. Olave, Evans, Keenan, and McLaurin. Do I trade Higgins for Andrews? Who do you have a tight end?
Yeah. I didn't like what I saw from Keenan last week. I know he had the touchdown, but he was going up.
Yeah, but Andrews
and Terry's been good recently.
Yeah, Terry's been awesome.
In a 2-flex league.
I just don't know what your other.
I don't. Yeah, but I mean, Andrews is going to be an improvement over any tight end that's not Kelsey, basically. But I still don't know.
But Andrews isn't
in a 2-flex league.
Andrews isn't that much better than every other tight end. Yeah. No, I keep taking T Higgins.
Yeah, especially in a 2-flex.
He's
league.
Incredible. All right. Do we have any other questions before we get on out of here, Jacob?
I have a personal one.
Oh yeah,
I'd love to hear it.
Flex. In my flex this week. So I'm starting in my running backs are Miles Sanders, Rachaad White, receivers.
We have the other tight ends. The other tight ends are who's that supposed to be? Garbage and Conklin.
Is it Everett?
Everett.
Oh, Gerald Everett. I kind of like Gerald Everett though.
Yeah, I mean, like Shane said, I don't think Andrews is a significant enough improvement.
I'll lay out the stat I said last week. Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
The Travis Kelce wide receiver 1. The difference in points to Mark Andrews at tight end 1.
Is it more like Neverett?
Yeah, that's good.
Instead of Everett.
Travis Kelce at 1. The point differential from him and Mark Andrews at tight end 2 is bigger than the point differential from Mark Andrews to Greg Dulcich at tight end 36. So that's how much better it is. Unless you're getting Kelce, I don't think it's worth trading for a tight end.
Yeah.
Even though Mark Andrews is very good, he's not that guy.
Yeah. Okay. So my running backs this week are Rachaad White, Deebo Samuel. My wide receivers running backs are Miles Sanders, Rachaad White. Receivers are Deebo Samuel, Christian Kirk. In flex, do I go Gallup, Leonard Fournette, Juju, or Jeff Wilson Jr.?
So Raheem Mostert's coming back. I like Juju. Juju's been really good.
Yeah.
Plus, they don't have anybody else. They are throwing to something called Justin Watson.
Kind of what I was
from Penn University.
I also have Curtis Samuel, but
I like Curtis Samuel too.
Ivy League, isn't it?
Penn?
Yep. Penn is Ivy League. Did you see the video of the Harvard football players? It was like finish that lyric thing that they like hold out a sign, they walk by the thing. It was Jim Jones, We Fly High, in the lyrics, and nobody knew it. They were like, "What? That's not a real song." What are we doing, Harvard? Anything else? Did we answer your question?
Harvard? You did answer my question.
Okay.
But are you surprised? It's Harvard.
Yeah, exactly. But still,
yeah,
I don't know.
Nerds.
Shout out Fitzmagic. My Fitz.
Yeah.
And so that was honestly one of the biggest adjustments moving out here. Is people are like Fitz. I'm like, why do you guys like Ryan Fitzpatrick so much?
He's also from here.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
From Mesa.
Oh, actually, I feel like I did know that, actually.
All right. We're here every single Thursday at 2 p.m. on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane Deef. You can follow Shawn on Twitter at Shawn_pause. Follow Bo on Twitter at Bo Brock. Follow PHNX_sports across all socials, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Click the link in the show notes or search Underdog Fantasy in the App Store. Use that promo code PHNX. Get $100 matched on your first deposit. We'll be back on Thursday. Roof, roof.